Does your metabolism slow down as you age? Now, I hear this a lot, and I get it that you're getting older, not old, older. And we talk about this middle age spread where you get into your 40s, 50s, and you find it harder to lose weight. You're looking to drop weight, or maybe you're just slowly putting weight on. Like the things that worked back then are now not working now. Well, does your metabolic rate, does your metabolism actually slow down? Now, before we go into if that actually happens or not, we need to know what your metabolism, what we mean by that. And what we actually mean is your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, which is the rate of calories your body burns, the amount that your body burns by just doing nothing, just by surviving. If you were to sit in bed all day and do nothing, you would burn roughly about this amount of calories based on your body just living, your heart beating, your bodily functions working. Okay, you'd have to get up to go to the toilet, hopefully, but your basal metabolic rate. Now, does this go down? We look at a study named Daily Energy Expenditure through the Human Life Course. Yes, I've got my notes here, which was done in August 2021. They took 6,500 people from 29 different countries, both men and women, between 8 days old to 95 days old, years old, from 8 days to 95 years old. And what they found was that metabolism did not drop off until the age of 60. So, taking 6,500 people from 29 different countries, both men and women from all different ages, metabolism did not drop off until the age of 60. So, if that's the case, why is the middle age spread such a thing? Why do we find it so much harder to drop weight when we're getting into our 40s, getting into our 50s? We know metabolism drops off a bit more when into the 60s, but not just off a cliff dropping off. But what we need to look at is our lifestyle as we get older. So, how much are you actually moving as you age? We think about our teens, we're going out. Like, I remember the days before phones, and you'd go to ask someone if they were getting out, or you'd ring them on before phones, before mobile phones. You ring them on the telephone and you'd say, "Hey, is Deej there?" Saying about my best mate. Deej there. Great. You coming out? We're going to play football. We're going down the school. We're going to have a kickabout. We'll go on our bikes. We might walk there. We might run there. We'd be out until all hours just playing football and whatnot. We were burning a lot of calories. You get into your teenage years, you start going out clubbing and all these sorts of things. And you're burning a lot more calories. Well, as we age, we find more and more that we are not then doing those activities. You're usually going to be in a job where most people are sitting down. I work with a lot of people that, even the people that have active jobs, the builders, the manual workers, the laborers, they're still sitting down elsewhere. They're driving further. We're driving to our jobs rather than walking to our jobs. We're on public transport because jobs are in other cities. We also find as well that as we get into our 40s, family life takes over. So we're actually then performing less team sports. And we're actually more likely to take our children to their hobbies and their activities, their team sports. It's that we're not putting ourselves first anymore. And I get that. I understand that. But the movement throughout the day slowly drops off. So we have to look at that as to say, is our metabolism getting slower, or are we just moving less? Meaning the activities we do to burn calories are getting lower and lower. So we need to combat that. We also need to look into what impact does that then have on our hormone levels. Now, when it comes to our hormone levels, especially for guys, obviously hormones, like I'm focusing this one on guys' hormones. Female hormones will obviously change as well, especially when it gets to perimenopause and stress impacts this. I've done a lot of content on this, but guys' hormones, specifically testosterone, it will go down in women as well. And women do need testosterone, despite what the NHS want to decide with whether they're testing testosterone in women or not. But that's another story for another rainy day. But guys' testosterone, it lowers from the age of 30 around 1% per year on average. even when we're maintaining it, we're trying to maintain it. So the average guy at 40 has 10% less testosterone than 30 years old. Not only that, sleep, when we get 6 hours or less sleep, there's a study that shows that it can lower for just 2 weeks, 6 hours or less sleep for 2 weeks, it can lower your testosterone by around 10 to 15%. So you can essentially age yourself in relation to your testosterone levels. This is the hormone that is responsible for a lot of get up and go and a lot of ability to maintain muscle mass, which will keep your metabolism a little bit higher and like just get you feeling good as well. That will lower by 10 to 15% if you have sleep 6 hours or less sleep for 2 weeks. That's like aging yourself for 10 to 15 years in 2 weeks. So we need to be working on pushing our testosterone levels up. Now, another thing that will impact your hormones, as we've said, it was your sleep, but not just that, it will also impact other hormones and stress levels as well, is getting less sleep. So we're getting the FOMO of, okay, we're putting our kids to sleep 7, 8 o'clock. Now we need to go and watch stuff which is probably going to kill brain cells like Love Island. Please don't watch Love Island. If you watch Love Island, that's, yeah. Anyway, we're going to watch stuff that we probably don't need to watch, or we're staying up a little bit later because we've just sat down. Well, our sleep routine is critical. It is critical to helping us balance our stress and improving our metabolism. Yes, we are just laying there asleep, but our body is recovering. Our body has been able to rejuvenate from the stress that we've put on it throughout the day when we're asleep. So if we're not getting at least 7 hours, ideally 8 hours or 9 hours, I know some people that say, I thrive off of 4 hours sleep. And I ask them if they've done a blood test, and their answer is pretty certainly a no. And actually, they're not able to get back to sleep because their body is super stressed. So you might think you're thriving short term, but long term, in 10, 15 years, when you look back, and this is what I talk about, it's super hard to think your 30s, you're preparing for your 40s preparing for your 50s, and so forth. That if you think you're thriving on 4 or 5 hours sleep, you are not. When we actually look at the data and when we look at blood tests and when we dive into the actual science behind it, your body needs 7, 8 hours sleep. It needs to not wake up every 2 hours. It needs to not be waking up to go to the toilet. You know, the thing that people say is normal, but it's common, not normal. It's a sign your body is under stress. If you're waking up to go to the toilet once, getting straight back to sleep, which most people aren't, then all good. But we should be able to get through the night, 7, 8 hours sleep without waking up. And we know that when we don't get that level of sleep, it's going to impact the way our body will hold fat. And it's also going to impact, as we said, the stress levels. When our bodies are higher stressed, there's going to be more issues with glucose management, which means there's going to be more cravings. And the one thing we need to do in order to lose weight, which is stick in the calorie deficit, is going to be super, super hard to do. Also, as we get older, those physical activities where we're going to see our mates and we're having loads of physical activities, we're riding around on our bikes, we're active outside, those activities, the social activities that we are potentially doing, then become around the dinner table with alcohol, or in a pub with alcohol, or in a restaurant with alcohol, which again is going to impact our body's ability. Like when we look at ability to stay in a calorie deficit, it's going to impact the ability to get restorative levels of sleep, detoxification systems, which is then going to impact your body fat levels, which is going to add to a middle age spread. We also know then those habits that come down are potentially going to lower our muscle mass. And if we have a lowered muscle mass, muscle is going to be something which helps you with your glucose management, which is going to allow you to get better sleep, which is going to allow you to manage stress better. Muscle is also very, like, it burns calories. We need, like, if we have muscle, we're going to burn more calories. So our metabolism is going to be a bit higher. So we need to be doing things that are going to be conducive to improving our metabolism. It isn't just a fact that as we get older, that our metabolism just drops off a cliff. It doesn't significantly lower, according to this study of 6,500 people, the study titled Daily Energy Expenditure Through the Human Life Course, which was published in August 2021. 6,500 people from 29 countries, both men and women from the age of 8 days old to 95 years old. It doesn't drop off until the age of 60. And it doesn't then drop off a cliff. It suddenly just drops a bit quicker. So what can we do? We can work on our nutrition, getting our protein levels up to make it conducive to balance and blood glucose levels to help us sleep. We can stop eating so much junk food to make our glucose levels a bit better balanced anyway, to get more nutrients that are going to help our body with hormones and get good levels of fat in, good levels of high quality animal fat, which are going to help your cholesterol levels in a good way, help your HDL, your good cholesterol, which is a precursor to making good hormones, which is going to help you with your sleep. So if we can sleep and wake at the same time, it's going to help your energy levels. That's going to help your hormones. It's going to stop you craving just because you're tired. And if you work on your movement, get your muscle mass up, work on getting resistance training in, work on your cardiovascular fitness. Maybe you do not need to take the car on that 5 minute journey. You could actually walk 15 minutes instead. Maybe you could park further away when you go and get the shopping, and notice these things that your children are going to see these habits and are going to pick up those habits as well. And I say that to so many clients is that as a parent, we need to be showing our children healthy habits because they are a sponge. They're going to absorb that. And you will start seeing these habits that you're doing, you will start seeing them in your children. Now, if you need support with this, you want to talk through, you honestly think that your metabolism is messed up a little bit and it's going down, let's work. Let's do some testing. Let's look at your hormone levels. Let's look at your gut health. Let's look at potential deficiencies, nutrient deficiencies. Let's look at, are you intolerant to certain foods? If you want to chuck all that money at it. But I would actually hazard a guess that if we worked on your health for 3 to 6 months consistently, then we would improve your health, making you increase your muscle mass, your sleep would get better, you would have more energy, you would lower your body fat, and you would just feel amazing. And if you need support with that, drop me a message. Let's have a chat and let's go through everything to see what we can do to support you right away.